Okay, so we're on 7-1. It's the practice page. I'm just kind of combining any type of notes or theorems with the actual practice problems and just squeezing them on this page for now, as long as that works. So we are going to actually put a theorem right up top here. This is 7-1. It might be kind of cut off for you, but make sure you're on this page. So at the top, I'm just going to name the theorem that we're going to be using throughout this page, and it is called the Polygon interior angle theorem. So I'm going to write it up here. Polygon interior angle theorem. And what this theorem states is that the sum of the measures of the interior angles is this calculation, n minus 2 times 180. And n stands for the number of sides of the polygon. So what the heck does that mean? You've kind of already seen this before. So if we have a triangle right here, we know that the interior angles add to 180 for any triangle. But what about like a quadrilateral? What do those angles add to? Well, that's where this calculation comes into play. So you would take the number of sides and then multiply it by 180, and you'd get 360 degrees. For any quadrilateral, the four angles add up to 360 degrees. What if you got a pentagon? Well, again, you just put in the number of sides and calculate it out. I believe it's 540 degrees for a pentagon. So you don't necessarily have to memorize the sum for all of your shapes, but if you know the equation, you could calculate the sum of the interior angles for any shape. So that's where we're headed with this. For number 1, it says find the sum of the measures of the interior angles of the indicated convex polygon. So for number 1, we have a nonagon. A nonagon has 9 sides. So we're just going to plug 9 into this equation. And 7 times 180 is 1,260. Okay, now we repeat. 14gon has 14 sides, so it would be 14 minus 2 times 180. And so on. 3, again, same process. And then we'll just cross out number 4. It's the same thing over and over. Okay, so that's how you do that type of problem. The next one, it says the sum of the measures of the interior angles of a convex polygon is given. Classify the polygon by the number of sides. So in this case, we're given this number, and we have to work backwards to find the number of sides. The way, I'm sure you already noticed this, the way this equation's set up is really weird. It was like this in our last textbook too. This is how they taught it. But for the case of these calculations, I'm going to put 180 first so it looks more like this, right? Because that's a little bit easier to work with. So we're going to take this and set it equal to these numbers. So 180 times n minus 2 equals 720. And then we're working backwards to find the number of sides. And now that we solve it just like we did in the bell work. Equals 1080 And then 1080 divided by 180 is n equals 6. So that means this is a hexagon. And if you're running out of room, just cross out 6. We'll just skip that one so you have more room to write. Okay, then number 7, it says that the interior angle measures add to 2,520. So we're going to, again, work backwards. Okay, pretty straightforward. There's a different way that it's asked on the homework that isn't on here that I want to just go over with you. Sometimes they give you the individual angle measure. So what's 3, 2, 4, 0? How many sides does this one have? I want to quickly solve this one. I'm going to quickly solve it to find the number of sides. Or maybe I have it on the answer key. Probably have it on the answer key so I can shortcut it. Hold on. Okay, this one has 20 sides right here. So if I was to do 3240 divided by 20, each individual angle would be 162 degrees. So sometimes they say, okay, you have a polygon and each interior angle is like 162 degrees. And then they want you to figure out how many sides it has. Well, for that, you would use the same calculation here and then put it equal to 162 times the number of sides, because that would give you the sum. And then you would solve this for the number of sides. So then just distribute. Okay, next. So again, if they give you the sum of all the interior angles, you just set it equal to 180 times n minus 2. If they give you each individual angle, then you just set it up like this. Okay, now it goes back to being easy. Number 9, it says find the value of x. So they give you a shape. It's for you to determine the number of sides. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. So then you would just plug it into the equation, 4 minus 2 times 180, to find the sum of the interior angles. So it's 360 degrees. And then from here, these 4 angles add to 360. So x plus 100 plus 130 plus 66 equals 360. And I know what you're thinking, do I gotta write that all out? For the first problem, yes. Okay, so what you would do after this, so these angles add up to 360. What I would expect you to actually do is just put 360 in the calculator, subtract these 3 numbers, and you get what's left over. So 360 minus 100 minus 130 minus 66 gives you the leftovers. What's that? Oh, okay. So x equals 64 degrees. So just like you would do with triangles, but now you're working with a different sum of the interior angles. Now all quadrilaterals add up to 180. All interior angles of quadrilaterals sum to 360 degrees. So if you get a quadrilateral and you remember this fact, then you don't need to recalculate it each time. So for example, we have a quadrilateral here. You can just do 360 minus this equals x. That's a good way to show it. There we go. Hello, shortcuts. 360 minus 103 minus 133 minus 58, and you're left with 66 here. So x equals 66 degrees. Okay. Okay, next. 11 and 12 are the exact same. We're not going to repeat something that's pretty easy. 13, now we're working with a bit of a different shape, different number of sides. So before we do anything, we'd have to figure out what the sum of the interior angles is. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. So it'd be 6 minus 2 times 180. And it should come out to 720. So you would just do 720 minus all this equals your x. And x equals 70 if I was to plug that all in. I've never seen a math teacher write it like this before, but it works. I like it. Okay, we're going to move on to the next page. Okay, we'll do a couple, like 1 or 2 of these. This one is similar to what you just saw. They didn't label every single angle, but it asks us to find the angle measure of x and y. It shows us this little square here, so that means that this is 90 degrees. And it shows this mark here showing that those angles are equal. So I'm going to figure out what these two, like what's left over, and then divide it by 2 to find each of these angles. So number of sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So 5 minus 2 times 180 will give you the sum. $540. So all these angles sum to 540. I'm going to do 540 minus these 3 guys. I get 284 is left over. So these together are 284, and they're both the same measure. So then 284 divided by 2 will give me each of them. We get 142 each. Oh, I thought that was 64. It's actually 164. Did you catch that? Anybody? Mobby. Okay, sorry. Did anybody actually get the right answer?
I got 92. I did.
You got 92?
Huh?
Is it 92? Did you get 92?
I didn't finish it.
Oh, I typed in 64 instead of. It's probably 92.
I got
Mine.
142 for the next one.
Oh, let me see what the answer key is. It's a key. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, there's 92.
It's 90.
But
Oh, no, I got.
you
Oh,
have
wait.
the right answer for the next problem.
Yeah, it's 92. It's 92. So if you subtracted all this, then 92 times 2. Whoa. This would give you 184. And then 184 divided by 2 is 92 degrees for each of those. You got the next one, Katie? I wasn't going to even do the next one. What did you get for the next one?
142.
That's so random. Yeah, okay, it's 142 here. I'm not going to work through it, but good job, Kaden, for working ahead. Whew, sorry. Okay.
That's all I said.
Next page. Okay, this is actually easier than what we just did, but it is another theorem. This theorem is based on exterior angles, so this is the exterior angle theorem. So write it down, exterior angle theorem. Exterior angles, as you may guess, are the angles on the exterior of the shape. So interior angles are on the inside, exterior angles are on the outside. Exterior angle states all exterior angles. Yes? After I'm done. Thank you. Okay. I'm sorry about that. Okay, all exterior angles add to 360 degrees. No matter what the shape, well, I mean, it has to be like convex, not concave, but all of the shapes, no matter how many sides they have, the exterior angles will add to 360. So on the homework, it'll say, what do the exterior angles of a 34-sided shape add to? 360. Like, there's no calculations as long as you know that all exterior angles of polygons add to 360. So for 21, it's asking for x. All you do is say, okay, 360 minus these three numbers will equal x. So 360 minus those three numbers comes out to 111. So x equals 111. Okay, 22, they take it up a notch, but all these add to 360, and then they have two angles that aren't labeled. They're both the same measure, so whatever we get that's left over, we're just going to divide it by 2 to get each of those. So we'll do 360 minus all of this. Let's see my answer key here so I don't have to type it all in while you wait for me. The answer is 53. So when you subtract all this, you get 106. And then you take 106 divided by 2 to get 53 degrees each. Okay. 23. Same idea. We're going to do, it's a little bit different because we have 2x and 3x, but 360 minus these three numbers. So we're left with 160. 2x plus 3x equals 5x, so 5x equals 160. And x equals 32, which if you wanted to know the exact angles, you could just plug that back in. So this would be 64 and 96 degrees. Okay, moving on to the next problems. 25. Am I going too fast or are you good? I'm just trying to keep it. Okay. No. I just wonder if I was going too fast or we're all keeping up. Okay, 25. Find the measure of each interior angle and each exterior angle. These are definitely on the homework. Each interior angle and each exterior angle of the indicated regular polygon. Pentagon has 5 sides. To find the interior angles, remember we do n minus 2 times 180. So that would be 5 minus 2 times 180, which at this point you might even have it memorized. 540. But it asks for each individual interior angle. So that's the sum of them. So if you did 540 divided by 5, you could get each angle. 108. And that would be the interior ones. And now for exterior, all the exterior angles add to 360. So 360 divided by 5 would give you each exterior angle. And that would be 72 degrees. And how do you know that all the angles are the same? There's this word called regular right here, and it seems like unimportant, but it's actually really important. When it's regular, all the sides and angles are the same for that shape. So like a pentagon would have all the sides the same length and all the angles the same length, and that's why we can divide by 5 to get each individual angle. So that word regular, it looks unimportant, but it's actually really important. Okay, next, 26. Let's try it again. 18 minus 2 times 180. Two, 8, 8, 0. And then 2880 divided by 18 gives us 160 degrees each. So that's for interior angles. Oh, I didn't realize how small that was. Can you see it all right? Then for exterior, just 360 divided by 18. And it comes out to 20 degrees, and that's for exterior. So when you're looking at the homework, make sure that you're identifying whether they're talking about interior or exterior angles. All the questions pretty much match the directions here, so you can just find it on the notes and do exactly what we did here. There is one word problem that you might get. Here's an example, octagon towers. It's an octagon. Assuming that the base of the octagon towers is regular octagon, regular meaning they're all the same length. Find the measure of each interior angle. So you would do 8 minus 2 times 180. 6 times 180 would be 1080. And then to find each angle, you would divide that by 8. 135 degrees. Okay, I'm going to have you get your homework started. If you finish your homework, which I'm sure you will, yes, you can go to the bathroom. If you finish your homework, then get Khan Academy started or finished.